Hi, let me begin by expressing my gratitude to the faculty and students of Ambedkar University, Delhi for giving me this platform to share with you my thoughts on career choices. We often use the words job and career interchangeably. A job is a set of activities that one does typically with an organization for which she or he gets compensated. A career, on the other hand, is a more long term word or a more overarching word, for it can encompass not just one job but a series of jobs and experiences that one gathers over the long period of life. So, this conversation is on career choices and not on job choices. To make this distinction more clear, being a teacher at a DU or an AUD or an IIT is a job. But teaching in itself is a career or a calling, right? Now, I remember sitting in the space that most of you, at least the students here, are sitting in 15-20 years back. Either at the cusp of your career or at the cusp of making the decision on what to do next. I have been a firm believer that what one tends to do as a kid is also what one tends to do well as an adult. The patterns remain, the manifestations may change. And therefore, during the course of this conversation, I am going to be sharing with you some experiences from childhood to teens to the space that you are in right now to the last 15-16 years of my career in HR. So I hope these experiences resonate with some of your current scenarios and also help you in making happier decisions. So I don't recollect when I heard the term career first. I do recollect though when I had the first notion of a career. My aunt used to call me Rakesh Sharma after India's first cosmonaut. I remember visualizing myself in that uniform that astronauts or cosmonauts wear inside a space shuttle. That perhaps was my first notion, or the one that I remember, of what I wanted to be. And like with every other child, I too had ambitions that varied through time. Some days I would want to be an archaeologist, some days a librarian, some days a pilot, and the list would be endless. I was growing up in northern Kerala, in the part that is known as Malabar, and we would undertake a lot of train journeys. I would always be fascinated to see the uniform of the train ticket collector. A kid growing up in the late 80s in Kerala, I'm sure most of us, we'd never seen a man actually wearing something as smart as a coat. To me, that was very, very enchanting. On top of that, I thought the train ticket collector has the freedom to decide when he wants to travel and where he wants to travel to. I thought this is going to be a brilliant thing to do when I grew up. And even as I was staying on with this dream, I remember traveling in a video coach. A video coach essentially is a bus service where they screen movies. And it had, while one of those movies was being screened, I remember seeing one of my favorite actors on screen. He was playing the role of a music director. I don't remember much of the story, but what I do remember is when he would enter the recording studio in the movie, he would end up doing like this, moving his hands in a rhythmic fashion as the music played on. I thought this was fantastic. I could listen to music and all I had to do was this. It took me a long time to realize that the job of music direction was much more than just a rhythmic moving of hands. Perhaps the first lesson that I would have taken in hindsight of not limiting myself to being infatuated, but to delve deeper. All of us enjoy this feeling of being infatuated, be it with a person or an idea, or in this case, the career. But please remember that most of the time when we are up is spent with either the ones that we love at home or with our career. So, loving our career becomes very important to our well being. I move on. By the time I was 13 or 14, I remember I was very clear in my head that I wanted to be a cricketer. I was absolutely fanatical about the game. I remember going in for selection to the under 13 or 14 team. Some 120, 130 of us were there for selection. At the end of the trials, optimistically, I think I would have ranked 129 there. Optimistically. Perhaps my first notion of a disappointment came in there. Again, with the benefit of hindsight, the lesson I took out of that experience was that while it is important to love what you do, it is equally important for you to take a hard look at yourself and see whether you have the talent to do what you really love to do. In my case, it was playing the game, and maybe I was not as good at playing the game as much as I loved the game. हमारे यहाँ एक कहावत है ना, कुत्ते पालो बिल्ली पालो, गलत फहमी मत पालो. Again, with hindsight, I know I was consumed with the blind spot of not knowing where my talents lie, or did not in this case. The first serious decision that most of us in India have to make as we grow up is to take the decision on what stream to choose as one moves from class 10th to class 11th. I took the easy way out. I just did what my friends did. They all took science. I followed suit. Knowing fully well that I absolutely suck at physics and chemistry and I had no interest in these subjects. Needless to say, the academic part of those 2 years was very, very difficult. I did not learn my lesson there. I repeated the same mistake for my undergraduation as well. I moved along with the herd, people who were really good at programming and coding and had the aptitude for that, and I ended up taking up IT for my undergraduation, knowing fully well, again, that I just did not have it in me. I did that because that was the easiest thing to do what the herd did. I'm not using herd in a bad sense. I'm just saying that was a popular thing to do. Right? It's like this. If you were to buy a Sony television, you don't have to justify to the world why you did what you did. But if you were to buy a local brand, people may ask you, ye kya kiya? Ye kyun kiya? And you would end up doing a lot of justification. So I did that. I ended up going with the herd. Many years later, I actually read a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's a book about a seagull called Jonathan, who, unlike his clan, believes that the purpose of flight is not to just go from one shore to another in search of food, but perhaps there is a greater reason. He didn't know what that reason was, but he wanted to explore that, and he wanted to also explore his own limitations. One of the sentences or one of the quotes in the book, which I really loved, was when Jonathan says, I do not exist to impress the world. I exist to live my life in a way that I am happy. I will be happy. Had I read this book at that point of time, maybe I would have taken decisions closer to my heart much earlier in life. Be that as it may, by the time I hit the end of third year, I started worrying about what when I don't get placed next year in my campus placements. And more importantly, what do I really need to do in life to earn my livelihood? Thanks to some people in the family and friends, I started reflecting on what are some of the things that I really enjoy doing. From the time when I was a kid, I used to enjoy yapping. I also enjoyed listening. Any process where I would see people talk, I would enjoy that conversation. And more importantly, I loved getting into why somebody was saying or doing what she or he was doing. I thought this drift indicated that I love psychology. And that is how I started doing greater research in terms of what I could do in my psychology for my masters. That research led me to a conclusion at that point of time that perhaps it is best that I do a master's in HR rather than in psychology directly, because after a degree in IT, it was going to be difficult for me to get something in psychology. So this time, I again joined a herd, the Mabhi Aya herd or the MBA herd, Mabhi Aya. The difference though this time was I was very clear that I would only do an MBA with a specialization in HR. Now, during the course of my post-graduation, I did a lot of internship projects, and I'm grateful to those experiences for they solidified my assumption that it was not just an infatuation, but it was love as well. And it is a love I have continued to live with even as I speak to you right now. Perhaps the biggest realization in the last few years has been the importance of keeping oneself abreast of what is happening around and not just limit oneself to what one has done in the past. I'll go back to a childhood story again. In the school that I studied in Kerala, there was a practice. We had classes up to class 10th. When the class 10th admit cards would come, in a ceremony, the principal would hand over the admit card to each individual student, even as some of us would chant something from the ancient Sanskrit verses. At that point of time, I had no clue what those meant. But one of those phrases makes a lot of sense now. It goes, Swadhyayanma Pramadaha, essentially meaning, do not desist from self-study, Swadhyaya. Now, in ancient India, this was their way of giving a message to the student during the convocation as a person moved into her or his career of choice. Swadhyaya has another meaning. It is not just about keeping oneself abreast of what's happening outside. It's also important to know what's happening inside. Self-study, study of self as well. Eventually, you will realize as you go through the years that having a deep observation of your priorities, your needs at any given point of time would also help you with job choices at different points of time. Let me conclude this conversation with a quote again from Jonathan Siegel. And I quote, "You are always free to change your mind and to choose a different future or a different past." Unquote. With these words, I'd like to wish you all happy decision making, wish you all the very best, and I hope that you find your meaning in life in your careers and through your careers. All the best and thank you.